You know what I've discovered today? Rolling Rock doesn't taste like anything. It tastes like carbonated water. About 30 cans of this like 3 days ago. I think this is day 3. Maybe 10 cans a day or something. Happy New Year. 2019 sucked. Actually, 2016 through 2019 sucked. But 2012 through 2019 has sucked. There's a lot of dudes in my apartment dating chicks between 18 and 24. Some of them are my age. I'm 40. Actually, the only guys dating chicks that are between 18 and 24 are either like out there exercising by riding a bike every day, or they're black. So I completely understand. I mean, you got the, whatever you got. I think most women are age phobic. If not, it's a matter of classism, which still makes these women a bigot. Like if it was me and I had $1 million, I'd probably have a girlfriend. Probably an 18 to 24-year-old girlfriend. I don't know. I think young women are hot. I'm a good listener. I know why you wouldn't want to date me. Because of rumors that I'm dangerous. I don't know where they get this. Probably stuff from like 4 years ago. Maybe even 8 years ago. I think the most violent thing, excuse me, that I've done in my life was in 7th grade I punched a guy who was pulling at my jacket. In 10th grade I slapped my brother for bragging about his girlfriend that I introduced him to. When he was in 10th grade. I was a senior in high school. That was the last time I committed a violent act against a human being. Was in 1998. I'm not lying either. I've slid a thing. I slid a thing. I'm sorry about that, but I slid a glass across a table once in 2012. I wouldn't call that a violent act. The fact that I haven't taken my meds in a year and I'm as chill as I am. I mean, if you have some evidence that my public persona is not chill within the past 2 years. It was a little loud 4 years ago. More like 3. It was a little loud sometimes. But it wasn't like violent or anything, just loud. That's 2 years. I haven't even taken my meds in a year. People try to provoke me over the internet all the time. I just, a hashtag yawn. Or hashtag bruh. Because I know that'll upset them. Which will just show them to be the unstable ones. If you ever want to piss somebody off, don't read what they have to say. Don't listen to what they have to say. Just scroll past it. Type hashtag yawn. It's gaslighting. But I've been gaslit so much by these people that I don't care. They've tried to provoke me into a mental hospital and actually succeeded once. I've just learned to dismiss these narcissists. I don't care what they say about me. I just hashtag yawn. If you were my girlfriend, I probably wouldn't do that. I mean, if you're my girl and we're friends or whatever, I wouldn't do that. I've cut some people off because I thought that they were using me in order to gain clout. But it strikes me as funny why women would want to hang out with me when within 5 minutes they're hooking up with some other dude. Why do you even want to hang out with me? You know I care about you. If I was not cock-blocked, I'd still be your friend. I don't care if you do porn, or e-porn, or a stripper, or a prostitute. I'll probably still be your friend. But if you want to like hang out with me, and you want to give me some sort of like entourage, well, if that's true, then the the entourage is about me. Okay, I'm not saying I'm a narcissist, but if you want to form an entourage with me, I'm going to take that because I'm a normal fucking human being. And if you're going to pump up my ego, you may as well do it right. I'm like an empathic flower. I'm surrounded by narcissistic bees. I can become a narcissist real easily. I'm usually pretty empathic. When I'm alone, I'm greatly empathic. People have tried to piss me off and it just doesn't work. People have straight up almost yelled at me and I've just laughed, walked away. And they've ended up being the ones that got in trouble. So it doesn't really matter. One dude, some homeless dude, a couple months ago, tried to like get me in trouble with the transit authority. Some homeless guy started like griping at me. I explained to the transit authority, and the transit authority kicked him off the property. I showed evidence. I have a drinking problem. Actually, I don't even drink that often. Oh, Rolling Rock. I know it's a little disgusting here. Burp, but if you burp, you're a human being. People fart too. I knew that. Oh, I think that later I'll probably go out and smoke a bowl. My neighbors smoke pot, but they smoke in the apartment. It's not against the rules to go outside, but if you're inside, smoke pot. I'm not going to say who these neighbors are. This is pretty much all of them. Well, okay, not all of them, but it's a lot of them. What I really want out of life is to play board games and to have a girlfriend. It doesn't matter if you don't want to have kids or not. If you're between 18 and 24, I'll give you a chance. Send me a video on Instagram. I'm not here to be chumped. I'm not angry at you. It's just, show your work. And proof you love me, but you don't want to prove it. Okay. Or as the Gen Z says, okay. Wait, let me see if I can pull this off. Okay. You remember when you were like 20 years old and all you did was speak in slang? Or you knew people and all they did was speak in slang and they got all the girls? My worth as a human being is that I am a listener and observant. If you're a girlfriend that wants to be all cute and tell me a story and tell me about your life, you're probably my type. If you just want to do anything else and you're cute and you're nice to me, you know what cute is. Cute means gorgeous, stunning. If you don't judge me for having an EBT card, if you don't judge me for my past, even though my past actions were questionable, though not illegal, how is it that I am bipolar if, like, for 2 years straight, my behavior in public has been chill as F? People can't get to me. They can't provoke me. Even when shit happens, I just am like, okay, and walk off. Fuck the petite bourgeoisie. It's like everybody's trying to fit in with the petite bourgeoisie. You look up Merriam-Webster for proletariat, it's the lowest class in definition 2. So, technically, I'm proletariat. And because I have a Patreon account, which I'll link below, I'm the working class. This shit is awful. It has no flavor to it. It's like, have you ever had poi? Have you ever been to Hawaii? I have. My parents were travel agents. I've been to Hawaii twice. And poi is disgusting because it has no flavor. Since 2000, I've been, I didn't get anything for Christmas from them because I called my mom a bitch. And I said that I hated her this year. I said I hated her because she was talking shit on a blog post that I found out about, where she told a bunch of people that I'm schizophrenic. Schizophrenic. I don't even know if I have bipolar, dude. I have never had an outburst in 2 years. I think what causes outbursts when I've had them is classism and capitalism. Here I am drinking a corporate beer. But I hate capitalism. I can't stand it. Anybody that loves capitalism is probably going to bore me half to death. If you don't have the chutzpah to stand up and say capitalism sucks, you and I probably won't even be friends. I'll just look at you like you're mentally deficient. And I have plenty of friends that can't stand capitalism. Some of them are like, they're not what you would accept as normal, but like my buddy on Facebook, my dude is like 22 years old. I'm starting to reach out to these guys because, they got the women that I want. They're like in their early 20s and, they don't seem irrational and they have hot girlfriends that are like 24. I'm 40, so it's a little bit different of a path. I'm sure if I hit up 40-year-old chicks and you were an ageist bigot or an age phobe, I would have a chick. They look at that like, oh, that's sexist. Look at me. Look at my history with women. Women have always been like some of my best friends. I've had my dudes, but I've also had women that are just, they've had boyfriends. So I've talked about how, it's unfair that they don't give me a chance. The women that I've been friends with are pretty cool. They look like any kind of thing, They look like all age groups, any kind of thing. Hot, gorgeous, regular, plain, normal people, people that aren't all that attractive, people that are very attractive. It's like you have a boyfriend, but it's like, why don't you want to date me, but you want to waste my time with friendship? I wish you no ill will, and I am completely ambivalent, but why you would start a conversation with me when you have a boyfriend amuses me, because it's to trust that I don't trust my own worth. And I could talk you out of your pants and your underwear pretty quick. Look at me. We're fucking. If that's a problem with you, fine. I don't care. Go be your boyfriend's meat puppet. I don't care. I don't care how much sex you are having with some guy that isn't me. I don't like you, but I don't dislove you. You know what I mean? I don't hate you. It's just like, you're having some sex. I don't hate you. I mean, that's human nature to want to have some sex. I don't like you, but I love you. I cut my mom off because she gaslights me. And she says negative things. I said, if you ever want back in my life, I'll see you at your funeral. Or give me a good Christmas present. I recommended some things and we'll talk. But you talking shit on the blog post about me having schizophrenia, I've never had a diagnosis of schizophrenia. Schizoid. But that's not the current diagnosis. The current diagnosis is bipolar 1. And technically speaking, since I don't see therapy, I guess it's a racist signal there. Weird. Sorry, negative. Sorry, crack-ups. It's like everything's going to be a racist symbol. You could do this. That wouldn't be racist. West Side! But I mean, if you're like they're talking shit, I've seen homeless people in meal lines that I've stood in that have talked the same level and same tone of shit as any other shit talker. They'll say you're gross while they're gross. Most people aren't like that, so I mean, if you're shit talking, you sound like a homeless person. The only people I've shit talked about are the people that have shit talked about me, and I've had the audacity to let it go. You know me, I'm like, anarcho-communist. I think socialism builds the road to that. Direct democracy and salary cap shit. But I'm not going to dismiss the fact that I am a card-carrying member, yes. A card-carrying member of the Democratic Party. I don't like violence. I don't like capitalism, and I don't like greed. I don't even watch football. God. I think that women should play in the NFL, though. I think if women played in the NFL, like they're doing on a lot of high school teams, that would be the shit. I would love to see something like that. I don't know why they have the WNBA. Everybody wants to separate men and women. Just think about it. Like some big Samoan quarterback or tackle on the Raiders or the Seahawks or something that's female. I would watch football again if there was a woman put in the NFL, the NBA, or the MLB. I would watch sports again if there was a woman in it. I think that this sort of classism against women is slack-jawed, yokel behavior. There's a gay, well, it's technically bisexual. There's a gay NFL player. I don't remember his name. So there's more acceptance for the LGBTQ community. I think that's cool. There's probably even out atheists that play professional sports. So yeah, technically I am proletariat because I'm of the poorer class, according to definition 2. And I have a Patreon, so that makes me a worker. And I design board games, and that makes me a worker. I'm designing one now that's probably halfway done storyboarding. And I've been storyboarding it for a year. And I made 9 games this year, so you know how impetuous I can be. I think that Verbus and Cafeteria Uprising are my star games. I'm sorry it costs so much for Cafeteria Uprising. I figured out the kink in that was to have physical coins instead of a scoring track. So I'm just going to keep it the way it is. And going with Cheesemongers, which will be about... You're on these 6 different types of terrain: water, forest, field, mountain, whatever. And there's a wild animal there when you start out, and you have to either scare it off to another tile or domesticate it. The only eggs you as a worker can eat are snake and trout. Or salmon. It's fish, but I haven't decided which one. Probably salmon. Snake and salmon are the eggs you can eat. You can also eat meat, milk, alcohol, plants. And the plants in this game will be marijuana. There's 6 different types of marijuana. You have to make 6 different types of alcohol, 4 different kinds of cheese. There are pigs, cows, deer, bear. And there are also snake and fish. So there's pigs, deer, bear, snake, and fish. So you can make cheese out of 4 of those. You have to have 4 different kinds of cheese. But you eat the eggs of the snake and the fish. All animals in this game will be omnivorous or herbaceous. So every animal feasts upon some kind of marijuana. Use the marijuana to make different kinds of cheese. It doesn't matter the kinds of cheese as long as you have 4 different animals. 6 different kinds of alcohol. The game is called Cheese Mongers. This is a game that I'm working on designing. You have to scare off the wild animal, or kill it for your food, or domesticate it by luring it with the marijuana. It is a plant source. So it's a little bit of a war game, strategy game. It's like Roads and Boats if the land were populated by wild animals and you had to change your behavior. Each turn you draw a card. It gives you 3 different colors of path. You could choose those paths, but your farmer has to have the strength to get there, the yell power and all that. It has to be able to defeat the animal. You have 3 different kinds, and any player can play any tile. Just remember that you have to have a barn to have animals and a house to have workers, which means that you have to go from land to land looking for trees to cut, because the barn costs 2 and the house costs 4 wood. At the beginning of the game, you're taking water and putting it in the well, so you don't have to pay a coin each turn for it. Each time you cart something, it costs 1 coin, but to go across any number of spaces, you can go 1 at a time. It costs nothing in terms of coinage. And I'm going to have the coins marked on a score track, I think. But in order to make cheese, you need iron. You have to make a pot. You have to have marijuana. You have to use pot to feed the animal. All the milk-laying animals eat some kind of plant, or they can eat animals. The bear and the snake can eat animals. All the rest of them can eat plants. The bear and the snake can eat plants and animals. So you're living on eggs, or meat, or alcohol, or eating marijuana. You can do whatever you want with it. You're eating something. In order to survive, to have your worker, you have to scare off or domesticate or kill the animals on those tiles. And when you kill them, you use their meat. Or you can domesticate them. And you can buy animals from the bank. You can sell things to the bank for half cost. And you could sell things for double the cost to your neighbors. You can't buy anything from the bank, though, can you? No, but you can sell it to them. You can sell to the bank for various things. You have to buy livestock from the bank or your animals. Get bought from the neighbors. The bank is cheaper when you're selling, but it's twice as expensive when you're buying. It's a very epic game that I'm working on. When you sell an animal, you can sell it for half price to the bank, or you can sell it to your neighbor for twice, which is 2 coins. You have a cow. You need a cow to make your milk, or a deer, or a bear, or a pig to make milk. You need rennet, which means if you make pig milk cheese, you need 2 cows to make 1 cheese. And you have to feed that cow or that pig until it's an adult, which takes 3 turns, I think, or 7. Some animals are 7, some animals are 3. You need a milk animal to make cheese. But there are 2 animals that also eat meat. And there are 2 animals that lay eggs, and you can use those for food. It's like roads and boats if there was a wild animal on your property. And this is the game that I'm designing. It's called Cheesemongers. You need plants, animals, iron to make the pot to stir the... You need wood to make the fire. You need hemp to feed the animal. Wood, iron, milk, meat, marijuana. Wood, iron, milk, plant, meat. So you need iron, milk, marijuana, meat, you also need, of course, always a pig. You have to rent it. You also need water. So you need at least 6 things to make cheese. You have to make them from 4 different animal milks and 6 different kinds of marijuana alcohol. I'll get to that later. One will probably be Maui Wowie. There'll probably be the Landris strains of marijuana that you will use to make for the 6 different kinds of alcohol that you will need. You will need a Maui Wowie, an Acapulco Gold, a Blueberry Kush, Northern Lights, maybe Panama Red, and some wild card marijuana. Maybe we'll do Romulan because that seems to be pretty popular in Washington State. So in the game that I'm designing, you need 6 different kinds of marijuana to make 6 different kinds of alcohol, and you also need to feed your animals, and you can use any kind of marijuana you want to make 4 different kinds of cheese. In order to make cheese, you have to have a worker. The worker needs a house. The house costs 4 wood to make. You have to have animals. You can keep 6 in a pen. You can build up to 2 pens. Each pen costs 2 wood. When you start out, there's a wild animal on your property. You have to kill it, scare it to another tile if you have the shout strength to do that, or the bullet power to kill it. Or you can domesticate it. You can use the meat to survive. So as you can see, there is an involvement with this game that I'm building called Cheesemongers that may cost a lot of money. I'm thinking of kickstarting it once I get it in command. And I've spent a year storyboarding this. I think I may be either right there or halfway through. If I build it, I'll build it in the fall. I don't know what kind of art I will need for it, but likely it'll just be a box cover, because the rest I can do for free. I don't care what naysayers and pessimists say. I think this will be a great game. It's simple, really. I mean, it's a lot like Antiquity. You're collecting pieces to build a certain thing. You're also surviving on those pieces. And you're building two different things. You have to build a house and a barn. And you have to keep the wild animal on the property in control. So if you start at a tile, you get to a tile and it's water. Obviously you have to contend with the salmon. The salmon you either have to kill for meat, domesticate by constantly feeding it marijuana to survive, or you shoo it to another property. The presumption here is if you get a lake tile and there's a fish on it, you can even scare it to the forest, because there will be like sort of an imaginary lake. So if you get a lake tile, there's a salmon on it, but you can also scare it to a forest tile or a mountain tile, because presumably there will be some sort of lake there. Do you understand? I hope you do. If you get a bear, it's going to be on the forest. If you get like a deer, it'll be on the plains maybe. I don't know. I haven't really worked it out yet. I think the bear could be in the mountains. I might even change it to a mountain lion. That's what I mean. Like I'm storyboarding it. Every terrain has a certain animal specific to it when you start. Every game you lay a tile and put the wild animal on it. That's part of your turn. You have to have the wild animal under your control in order to manufacture the goods you need in order to win the game, which is 4 different kinds of milk cheese and 6 different kinds of alcohol. From 6 different kinds of marijuana. The marijuana is also used to feed your animals. You can live on eggs, meat, or milk, or plants. And the only milk you get is from the milk animals, and the only plants you get are marijuana. And the eggs you can eat are snake and salmon. Probably rattlesnake, just make it cool. So this is a game I'm working on called Mongers. I am about halfway done storyboarding it, and I've been storyboarding it for a year. I have it in my notebooks. I plan to Kickstarter it towards the end of this year.